make that go.
If I could give you any advice, it would be to be who you want to be and let people tell you who you are. Because lately, everybody's been trying to tell me who I am. And they're like, Sadie, I know you. Let me tell you guys something. There is not one person on this earth who knows me better than I know me. Sadie, we know you. Mercedes, this isn't how you are. So, you tell me, who am I? You tell me who I am. And then I'll be whoever you want me to be. And that's exactly what I've been telling people recently. Because clearly, you don't like who I am. So tell me who you want me to be. And that's exactly who I will become. And that is my biggest flaw, but also my best quality. I am a chameleon. I can be whoever I'm around. I know how to get ghetto. Not very good at getting ghetto, but I can twerk and I can get drunk and I can do all the crazy things of life. I love a good hood jam. Isn't that what, what's her name? Kelly Stamp said, I love a good hood jam. Yeah, but just don't ask me to run because your girl got asthma. Let me take my inhaler first. That's the only thing I can puff of because I had my little pen smoker phase and y'all, I almost had an asthma attack. I forgot who I was. But I tried. Listen, everybody is going to tell you who you are because who I am with my parents is different than who I am with my siblings. It's different than who I am with my in-laws. It's different than who I am with my friends down here. It's different than who I am with my friends up there. It's different from, nobody knows who I am. So I would ask everyone to stop telling me who I am, but instead I'm going to ask you to tell me who I am so I can be who you want me to be. Because I'm so sick and tired of showing the wrong character trait in front of the wrong person and them telling me, this isn't who I met. You're never going to be happy if you want me to be the person that I was when I met you, because I am ever changing and always growing. I am in therapy and I have been in therapy since I was in 7th grade. I go every Thursday at 9 a.m. And every Thursday at 9 a.m. I talk about everybody in my life and I get advice. And so if you're wondering why last week I was mad at you and this week I'm trying to reconcile, it's because I'm in therapy. If you're wondering why last week I didn't wear makeup and this week it's the rage, it's because I'm learning how to be beautiful. I'm learning how to accept my beauty. And I'm trying to learn whether I like makeup, whether I don't like makeup. If you're wondering why yesterday I wasn't able to put on a blonde wig with confidence and all of a sudden I'm blonde, it's because I've wanted to wear a blonde wig since I was a kid and everyone told me I was too dark to wear it. So here I am therapizing myself, healing my inner child, because this is the child in me, blonde. My inner child is blonde. I'm the little blonde girl that I wish to adopt one day. Because I used to always say, I'm going to adopt a little blonde girl. And whenever I see little blonde girls, I'm like, oh. Because in my heart, I'm a little blonde girl. So anyways, everybody's been trying to tell me who I am mentally, you know. Thought I had ADHD, but then I took an Adderall and pretty sure that's what sent me into a psychosis, if not postpartum and stress. Don't have ADHD, because if I had ADHD, I think that Adderall would have did something different to me. Yeah, don't have ADHD. Maybe I'd have ADHD, but if 10 milligrams of Adderall can mess me up, then I don't know. So now I'm on all these drugs because the doctors think I have bipolar. So maybe I have bipolar, but maybe it's just postpartum. Who knows and who cares? Because at the end of the day, I want you to tell me who I am. I want the doctors to tell me who I am. Because even though I know who I am, nothing matters. I should find that journal because I feel like I need to describe what I went through in my psychosis real quick. This is the infamous psychosis diary, where I was talking about how I want to surrender all to God this season. And I wrote some things. Is there something you want to tell me? Is there something you want to hear? It was the Moana quote that I held on to through my psychosis. And I wrote a year without rain. And I wrote about my fear of becoming a single mom and becoming a nun, because I don't want to be a nun. I want to be sexually active with my husband and have many, many, many children. I don't want to be a nun. So yeah, and I wrote about my fear about being a nun for a year, because I associated being a nun with like I don't know, I always overestimate timelines, and I thought Fletcher was going to be away from me for a year. So that didn't happen. It was more like a week. But it felt like a year. Every day of that week felt like a year. Anyways, and so I wrote Let Go and Let God right here, because this is all just anxiety. And then this little Moana quote is like, come on, Jesus, please tell me what I want to hear. Simultaneously being at the same time, it was like, I feel like I am both a child and an elderly woman at once. What I mean by that is I feel like I'm receiving wisdom while at the same time giving wisdom all the time, because I'm the best of both worlds. I'm the best of both worlds. I am Hannah Montana. Anyways, I also felt like during my psychosis, when I was stressed, I would constantly say that I feel like I'm Hannah Montana, because I was jumping between personalities, because like I said, no one knows who I am. They just tell me who I am. Okay? Boom. This is what I drew during my psychosis. And everyone thinks that it's just craziness, but maybe I can, say what it means now that I am in my right mind and I am feeling a lot better. So what this means to me is, one, I feel like everything goes back to Adam, Eve, and God in the garden. God at the top, Adam and Eve. Secondly, I drew this triangle because I'm a visual person, and I feel like we always talk about Father, Son, Spirit, and I was like, there's got to be a mother-daughter spirit. And, the more that I look at this, the more I think, maybe it's not Mary as in Mary, Jesus' mother, but maybe it's Mary as in Mary Magdalene, the saint. So, every day that I look at this, I start to think maybe in reality, I should be Catholic. Maybe Catholic in practice, but not Catholic as in Catholic going to that Catholic church because your girl likes to listen to the jams at the church that she goes to. I like the music, and I just can't see myself listening to slow Latin songs. I will fall asleep. I need to be hype. But anyways, I feel like at the end of the day, it all goes back to God, man, woman. And for me, I felt like that meant black man, black woman, children. It's like a list, like God, man, woman, children, animals. And I thought I was going to write that down. But I feel like after you go through your like Old Testament phase, like you really heal your inner child and your inner wounds, then you can just go to being a woman. And that's the phase that I'm in right now. I have healed all of my, childhood traumas and dealing with my Old Testament, as I would say, during my psychosis. And now I'm just being Eve. I'm just being a woman. I'm just trying to find my Garden of Eden in the hell of life, because for some reason, Earth is just so demonic. And when I say demonic, I mean everything on this page. Like, I'm not going to go back on it because, in the Bible it says, don't be afraid to speak. Don't be ashamed to speak. And I was in my psychosis, but what I was saying was true, honestly. And I used to be very liberal. I did. I used to be. I used to be very liberal. And now I'm very conservative, very much Ken's Owens, very much Christian, very much. We probably don't believe the same things anymore if we went to college together, or we went to middle school together, or high school together. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, I said, I'm who you want me to be. So if you want me to be there holding your hand while you get an abortion, I'll be there holding your hand. But as long as we can both understand that we have different beliefs, I'm not going to try and to convince you to keep your baby. I'm not going to try to convince you to not be a hoe. I'm not going to try to convince you to believe what I believe. But I am going to post on my channel talking about my beliefs, and that's what I can control. Because at the end of the day, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So yeah, everybody thinks it's crazy that I wrote this, but it's true. We live in America, and in America, everybody wants to believe that there's a hierarchy in race, and I know we're trying to break that down, but it still exists. Because when I was in my psychosis, why did I notice that every man had a woman? Every woman had a man. That social worker woman had a doctor by her side, and that doctor was a man. And he was a white man at that. And he was a white man, and the social worker was a black woman. And I'll say, I was at the hospital in Baltimore. So I'm sitting here like, I grew up in a very diverse area where the doctors are any race. But the fact that there are still places where it's like all the black people were at the bottom tier level, and as you went up the hierarchy of careers, it slowly went from black people to white people, and then in between there was every other culture, specifically cultures that were not like, more like immigrants, not other cultures as an American, other cultures as an immigrant. And so it was hard for me because I could barely understand what anybody was talking about, because nobody spoke English correctly. And I'm like, is English your first language? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. Because you don't understand what I'm saying, and I don't understand what you're saying. So what does that mean? But anyways, I'm gonna stand on this till I die. And the worst part is that I'm around so many people who just don't know how to listen. Like, come on now. Is it really that hard to understand? Death, overeating, laziness, sex with people who you shouldn't be having sex with, getting drunk, witchcraft, divination, racism. It's all bad. It's not that hard to understand bad from good. You don't have to be Christian to understand bad from good. You don't have to be conservative to understand bad from good. You don't have to be liberal to understand bad from good. We all understand the same thing. Nobody's walking into an abortion clinic because they're happy to kill their baby. But can we all accept that it's killing your baby? That's it. That's it. Because everybody, I'm going to speak on this because it's my channel and I can do what I want. I had people tell me when FJ was in the womb, I had people tell me that he wasn't a real baby. I had people tell me that I shouldn't be excited at 7 weeks because he's not a real baby. And guess what? F them. F all of them. Everybody who said it. And I hope you're watching too. Who am I? Tell me who I because I'm somebody who's struggling over here and trying to get over here. And aren't we all? Now, I don't know why it was so hard to understand that in the first video. Because maybe the words that I say out my mouth are not the words that are in my brain. But what I'm trying to say is, if you're having sex with a bunch of people, you're gonna get an STD. And that's a consequence of being over here. And what I'm saying is, if you're getting abortions left and right, you just might get endometriosis. And that's a consequence of being over here, because nothing over here is going to give you that consequence. Drinking water, eating healthy, going for a walk, being married, having sex within marriage, soul tie, creating soul ties with one soul, it's not going to get you nowhere negative. Now, like I said, I'm not going to tell you not to do the things that's over here, because listen, I be getting drunk, but then I be throwing up, and that's a consequence of being over here. I be eating, but then my stomach be bloated, and I be real full and tired, and that's a consequence of being over here. Now, I ain't never murdered, I never got an abortion, I've never been, sexually immoral, but the truth is that you can do the things over there all you want, but there's negative consequences. Just take the negative consequences and stop complaining to everybody else. And then I need everybody else to stop trying to tell, the whole point is, stop trying to tell me who I am. Because who I am is not, it falls within this. This is it. It's black and white, except it's red and colorful. And I've had a couple people who are Christian come and talk to me and message me, because they get it, they understand. And the thing is, what did it say? The wages of sin is death. So I'm gonna stop getting drunk eventually. Because that's something I struggle with. And I'm gonna stop being lazy, because I was lazy before and now I'm up. It's 3 a.m. I'm making my content. I'm gonna go for a little jog on the treadmill. I did my makeup, I did my hair. I'm gonna pick my nice little outfit after I go for my jog. Make sure that I smell nice with my vanilla. But I just feel like I don't understand, because I think the problem is, after one of my psychosis, I realized life is short. I could have died. I really could have died. And as soon as I came out that psychosis, I was like, let me go ahead and tell everybody the honest to God truth. Told my parents, I don't know what you want to believe, but what I believe is that I went through abuse as a child, emotional abuse, emotional neglect sometimes. I don't care what they want to believe. That's what I believe, and that's what my therapist believes. And that's what my psychiatrist believed when I told them some of the things that went on during my childhood. I don't know what nobody else wants to believe, but I believe that I went through sexual trauma as a child. And now I am who I am because of that. I realized that I healed my inner sexual wounds when I went to a party and a man tried to force himself on me. And I didn't ignore it this time. Every single time I go to a party and a man touches me, I ignore it. But this time, and I'm gonna give credit to the psychosis, because I swear when I was in that psychosis, I was like, I'm not giving up. Frick. When I was in that psychosis, I grabbed that man by his neck and cussed him out. And he thought I was crazy. Because when a black woman gets angry, she has bipolar. When a black woman gets angry, she's crazy. When a black woman goes blonde, she's crazy. So I'm crazy because that's who you want me to be. So tell me who I am. Now I'm psychotic. Now I'm Harley Quinn. Now I'm crazy. It's fun being crazy. Because crazy is being Christian, of course.